So I've been coming to the realization that dark feminine energy is highly misunderstood. A lot of people don't understand it. I feel like there is a lot of talk about it, but it's from this kind of like 1D perspective where it's still rooted through the eyes of the patriarchy. I feel like there's so many different aspects to dark feminine energy, and it is honestly probably the best feeling in the world to call in that dark feminine energy within yourself. Especially for me, my soul is actually more dark. My soul is more the moon, and that's in one way I feel like dark feminine energy is so misunderstood. People paint dark feminine energy to be like it's manipulative. They paint it out in all these Disney princess movies. They paint out the girl to be like evil or all these things, but the thing is, dark feminine energy is not manipulation. And I feel like a lot of people just take on the aesthetics or certain characteristics or spiritual bypass without understanding the lessons and the wisdom to why someone got there. There's no really embodiment. It can come across as really toxic. It can come across really bitchy. And the whole point to have our dark feminine energy is to be in wholeness, to not be so closed off and reserved, but it's to be selective because you know your energy is valuable, but not from this place of complete entitlement, but a place of I know how hard I've worked for this peace and to protect that peace, because you know how so many people are not willing to protect your peace. So it's about discernment, and it's all about intuition and flow and going inside of yourself. I do feel like sometimes some of the talk about dark feminine, it's this aesthetic. I've been in places in my life where I've fit that description way more than I do now, because I feel like I have so much of my light. I was in my light feminine, I feel like, for so long. Actually, I feel like for the last 4 years I've been in that compassion place. Those attributes, what I like to call being in your light feminine. You're in your heart more. I was in my heart. I was healing. I was in this soft place. I have been wanting to and feeling this pull into my darker side. And again, my darker side is not a bad thing. It's not bad in any sense. If we look at nature, we can see how nature is so chaotic and how so many things in nature are feminine, and it is about this flow, but it's also, it can be aggressive. It can feel this rage. I feel like sometimes so many people just want that softness, and they want to harvest that softness without having any appreciation for that flame, without having any appreciation for that beauty of the shadow and the night. Like, I like people who find beauty in that and find beauty in the wholeness of us, because the thing is, like, I feel like when I'm such in my light and I'm over compassioning and giving, people are always telling me, oh, you know, this is this, and I love having that light and I love helping people. Nothing lights me up inside, but at the same time I'm realizing that without that backbone, and that's what it is, having that protection for yourself, it is being in a healthy relationship with your masculine. For example, if you are in your wounded dark, like you're in this darker feminine phase, you could come across as very detached and like very stoic and, you know, all these things. Like, I was like that 2020. I was like that, and I had the dark aesthetic mastered way more than I do now. But that's the thing, like, I feel like a lot of people, they try so hard, but they're not actually just like living true to themselves. It is about protecting what is within you. It's not about like being this certain way to gain something. It's not about using manipulation tactics to gain something. It's just about being, okay, this is a core of who I am, and I'm going to protect that core because I know that people are vultures. People are just generally vultures out there, and you have to protect yourself. So it's not being performative. I feel like being performative is like kind of giving that your inner core and stuff away. I could go on this tangent about being performative because I have, you know, various opinions about that. People could say I'm performative, but I think if you are manipulating anything to get male attention, like, you are not in your divine dark feminine energy, which everyone can call in that divine energy within themselves and go on this journey to become their divine being, which I always say this, it's never this arrival. You can call that in if you want to go more into your heart and compassion, like whatever your soul needs in your journey, like whatever energy you need to step into. Now, personally, I've always oscillated back between dark and light aspects within myself, and I've always done this kind of externally. So I'm not dissing on the external things, because sometimes when you pay attention to your external, that can help. I do this as a tool. It can help me pull me into a reality that I want to go to. It can be a tool, because when you are trying to shift to a higher timeline timeline, a timeline that you know you need to go to. That would just be embarking on your soul's journey, and that would bring you fulfillment and ease and soothingness. And if you intuitively feel like you want to shift into that, sometimes it can be easier to not attach yourselves, but use it as a tool for transmutation, so you can closer shift into that reality through physically, and for it to be more seamless and for you to carry that momentum. That should not be beneath everything. There should be a reason like why you do this. I feel like because of the sensuality, sometimes I've heard people blame like for their addictions and stuff on like certain people. I've always been like, that made me feel so weird. Don't think we should be exploiting ourselves for the male gaze and things like this, but at the same time, there's a part about sensuality that I think comes with like trying to be in this darker energy, not so be in your light and kind of face your shadows. I feel like it has to do with facing your shadow, which I'm really trying to integrate mine. I was thinking of this quote, I believe it's a Red Book by Carl Jung. There's this quote that says something about the feminine has a masculine soul and the masculine has a feminine soul, and I actually could not agree with that more. I feel like my soul is darker in that way. Like it's darker in the way that nature and everything natural is dark and beautiful, not in an evil way, not in a distortion way. If you want to think about that, the difference, I don't think like wounded is double energy, because I think wounded is just something that happens, like we become fragmented through our lives, through things that happen to us. We become fragmented, we go into that wounded energy. I was there, I was completely in my wounded energy. I appeared all these things like mysterious, all these things, but I was not trying. I just appeared that way because I just was like mentally ill at the time, and I was struggling with all these things, and it literally made me cold. It made me detached, and it made me from my heart. And because of that, like I had a million people chasing me underneath the surface that was all wounded. And I don't think that's like my fault. I was not doing anything intentionally, like I was not playing with people, I was not doing anything devil energy. But what I do think is devil energy is, it could be a person or it could be a corporation. It's just anything to do with, again, the manipulation. I do emphasis on this because when a woman starts to step into her darkness more in her boundaries, I feel like it becomes very triggering, more so to everyone. Actually, I was going to say the male species, but actually I just think everyone, because people just start to hate you more. People start to hate you. I feel like everyone hates me. But it's just like, to me, I'm just like, okay, I can only laugh at that. Everyone hates me. Well, all I've ever done is love people. You know why? With these boundaries and these backbone I've gained, that would be like more of my darker energy coming in, and be like, no, I can't just give light out. Light, yes, is infinite, but the thing is, we have physical limitations, and I can just like give all of that energy out. People, like I'm an open faucet when they don't appreciate, because people don't appreciate things that they can just drain. And what I've realized, that I'm not valuing myself if I am just like completely drained, letting my energy can be completely valuable, but it can also be exclusive. There's literally a fly in here. How did a fly get in here? I mean, I do have a window open earlier on the side, but evil eye, that's evil eye. That's people in my energy. I've been giving my energy and giving my own power away. Literally, I've been giving my own power away. Even watching someone on social media is giving your power to them. Watching someone on social media is giving your energy to them, and that's allowing them to access you and your energy. And I've been doing that. I've been giving away my power and projecting my potentials onto people. I have got to this point where I am so compassionate, it is breaking my own heart, because I'm just like, why am I compassionate? And I am, and I know that, and I know that my core, like, there's facts are facts. Why just dismiss what you are? People get annoyed when you own what you are. It makes people uncomfortable. But dark feminine energy is not concerned about what makes people comfortable. It's not about not having empathy and consideration, but it's about understanding that I can have consideration for you, but these are also my boundaries. My boundaries are strict. People say, come on. That is so disgusting. That is so disrespectful to me. I don't care what I get called. I feel like the world tries to project so many different versions now. You can see it everywhere of these type of women, because you know why? The women that gain their backbone and that connect to the power within them and understand the divine flow, not just the flow part, because you can get trapped in that, but you have to integrate the backbone. And that is really when you step into your power, because you start to realize that not just the flow and the spiritual aspects and all this, but you start to realize also, no, there's a logic in this, and like your brain starts to kick in. It is about being unapologetic, and yes, you can tap into that sensual energy within yourself. You know why? Because your sexual energy is your sacral. I feel like a lot of us carry a lot of trauma in our hips, especially women. We carry so much trauma, not even from this life, but just from our DNA being passed down in our hips, and it's really healthy to release these. I need to get back into hot yoga. Like I will get back into that. I need to shift gears and start taking care of my physical vessel more. I know I've been saying this for months, but I do. When you tend to work more in which I have been trying to do, I find it better to obsess about a couple things and hyper focus on those, and then I'll try to integrate more balance back into my life. And that's what works for me. I work in extremes. I work in going head on into something. And even when I was trying to implement these boundaries, I was just like being so strict. I looked at my other videos, I was like, oh wow. And people were even telling me like, oh, you're strict. I am strict, but it's not like I'm cold. I'm not cold. It is like I feel like I have this heart which is light. That's what I feel about myself. And I know my heart will be the own death of me. My heart. And people don't see how compassionate and how beautiful that is. I look at my heart as like a golden gem, as like the most precious thing on the world. And if someone doesn't view my heart like that, I want to protect that, then I will protect it. So I will put it in this vault that is preserved. And it's like I am preserving myself. I am, even like this celibacy I've been on, I have no shame to women that like just sleep around. Like I'm not ever shaming that, but I can only talk about my experience. I can talk about my experience and what I believe, and it's not rated. This is not rated in the patriarchy. My celibacy journey is just knowing how it's connected me to yourself, and you have a clear mind. And I do feel like in a sense that celibacy journey is connected to my ability preserving myself. I'm keeping myself for me. I'm not giving my life force and draining it to other people. Like I'm saying no. And if you want to access me, then you have to give me something that I would want to value. And that's not being transactional. That is just knowing, not being naive anymore, that there is not an exchange. Because I just used to see people as people, and people are people. But at the same time, why do you deserve my energy? I've done so much work to get here. Why do you deserve my energy? I would rather be alone. In a lot of cases, like there's some situations I find it very hard to have friends because people take my needing to be alone very personally and very seriously. If I'm on a different path with someone, like I've had some friends, we went on completely different life paths. When there's their birthday, I say happy birthday and all these things. Sometimes people think you're cold and people think you're selfish, but it's just about having clarity. People like to make it out to be like, oh, manipulation. No, it's absolute purity of clarity. It's absolute surrender. And the darkness is so beautiful. Now when someone just compliments my softness, my light, my antennas go up, because now I'm scanning to protect myself, and that is not a wrong thing. Like I've been scanning the room since a young age, hypervigilant, but now it's not even about hypervigilance. I'm not hypervigilant. It's about just complete surrender in the darkness. Understand that we don't need to be afraid of our shadows. Going back to what I was saying about this sacral, we carry so much shame. There's so much shame within all of us, and our pelvis and our sacral chakra. And when you especially liberate yourself in that way, being in touch with your desires and your flow and your own body and that sacral, that's when you start to embody more sensuality. It is programmed into us, don't touch your own body, and to cover up and all these things. And that's what I'm trying to like be like, no, it's not like you need to not show up. I don't need to show anything, but it's just like I don't view my body as bad. And it's about also not about being just perfect all the time, but like being messy. And there's just like death that happens with women naturally, this darkness and death that happens every month. They operate on this different clock. Feminine energy is the thing where men can embody too. When I talk about energy, I'm always talking about energy. We all carry masculine, feminine energy, but sometimes like when I say woman, I'm talking about the genders, because our genders can have a different effect on us. I think it is Pride Month actually, and if it is, well, what I believe about that is that I believe love is love. Like I believe everyone's probably just bisexual actually, and we just like don't understand and have even shame because of that. I mean, I've explained what I'm attracted to before, and people take that seriously. That's just like what I've realized about myself. I am attracted to like intellectual people, I guess, and like a multitude of things. My standard to be attracted to people is like really high. I'm bossy with myself, but not in a rude way. Like I'm so compassionate and giving with myself, and like I give grace. Like even to me, hardly work out. Obviously something working on bettering myself is something I want to do, but because I've been so devoted in a sense to my spiritual world, and I can have a more long-term vision to understand, okay, maybe one step back in this area so you could focus on this area to get more, time and space to do this area. That is giving me the grace as well. That is self-love. Sometimes the most wellness thing you can do, and the most spiritual thing, sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is have fun. Sometimes the most wellness thing you can do is just, listen to your soul and just follow your soul and stay up late. Like sometimes the healthiest thing is not going to bed so early. I did my makeup like 20 hours ago. Last videos, like I could look way better on the stuff, but sometimes it's giving yourself the time and the grace to understand, okay, I want to get ready. I have this intention to make this video. But at the same time, if you don't feel in your feminine flow right now, don't rush it. It's about also allowing yourself to follow your own rhythm, be unapologetic about, and to not follow other rhythms. I used to make these planners. I was obsessed with making these, and I think I'm gonna start like using them again because they were good. And it was like I was obsessed with going through each thing about the moon, the phases. Based off our phases, it's calling us to go into like a different phase, like depending on, like, I think if it's the full moon, it's a white witch moon. It used to be on the cycle when I was more like a feminine energy, and there's different ones, like depending if you bleed on the full moon or the new moon, which I don't take any medicine. I'm not on birth control, and I really recommend women to not control that. I don't believe in that. It is so much more toxic than you think it is. Like taking these pills, it's not judgment. Understanding the education behind it and understanding what it is doing to your health. It's like a carcinogen, and it causes problems. Our bodies are naturally meant to line with the moon, and I know we live in a world that is based off these systems and these things, but I really think to connect to that energy, we do have to in some way understand that we are lunar. We have a lunar cycle. That is the reality of our makeup. That goes into like more the female aspect, not necessarily just the feminine. A lot of people are saying things, but are they really embodied, right? Often what a really good sign is for me, like I just like to observe. I'm not, everyone's journey is different, but it is kind of to see like, does a girl also have that softness and that compassion? Because yes, perhaps in the past I was more, this aesthetic, this, I came across this way externally, but the thing is, I was not in my youthful light. I did not have this childlike spark to me because I felt like it was gone. I lost it. I think that's so important too, and I think that when you're in this wounded phase, sometimes you have to go cracked open to get into that warmer, lighter feminine with a compassion in your heart, and you're just la land. I was in that space for like 4 years and obsessing about love and all these things. Not obsessing, I was just like love. I was not obsessing. I literally been focused on my path. But I was in this space, but now I'm in this space, oh my God, like this is, I can hear my logical mind. I need this backbone for myself to protect myself from the world, and that is not a weakness. So the dark's not necessarily about being more rigid. The thing is, like, you can always go deeper. You want to be your own human being. You don't want to like play games with people. You really want to go on the path to be embodied. If you are asking, and I understand the whole like frontal lobe development thing, because I am just looking back on like some spiritual states I've been, and how just reflecting on like the way I viewed love even like 6 months ago, I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just thinking now, like the last 2 days, is my frontal lobe just developing now? And I've said this before, but it's like something is shifting me. It's like I'm going through this other awakening. Like it's like my logic is really kicking in, and I need this. Like, oh my God, my soul need this. And I have not even stepped into all the things I want to still shed. I want to transform a million times, but that's the whole thing. I am not scared of the dark anymore. When you understand it's not scary, I think we sometimes can be so afraid of our wounded shadow, the one that we used to be when we were unhealed, and that's that we stay in that soft feminine for so long because we are so afraid to tap into our darkness. I also do think that sometimes like where you hold your most power, that is when you can like suppress the most. Yes, I do have this like good girl conditioning or whatever, but I do have this rebellious dark side. But this dark side, it just means so many different things. It doesn't mean to be destructive, but it is destructive. It's destructive if anything that's not real. It's destructive if anything that does not have clarity. It's just destructive if anything that is not truthful. And I say, if you cannot face the truth, then do not face me, because I know the truth and I am the truth. Facing me is destruction. It means humbling your ego, but it's for the betterment of your soul. And some people are just not ready to face that. They're not ready to face their souls. They're not ready to face the truth because they're so scared of their own shadow, which is rooted back to shame. People are so afraid and they are so shameful of their shadow. There's a healthy way that we can like heal our shadows and that we can integrate our shadows. I just feel like I'm just re-entering this dark energy. I mean, I've been trying to integrate this for a while. Like I feel like a year ago I was like female rage. I physically have felt the things within my body that's been passed down from my lineage. Like I feel my body was resisting me for so long. It was like, I need to get up here and do all these things. But I could tell that my body was programmed to do. But really, I feel like to enter more of that dark energy is to say, no, like I'm allowed to be, I'm allowed to rest. If you are go, and you think that you're locked in, that is a part of it. That's a go-getter, cheetah energy. Like you need that for yourself. It is not about exploiting that thing within you. It is about completely protecting it, because if you have that, you have nothing. It's about protecting your life force energy. I've been really calm right now, and I've been really calm all day, and I'm just like, wow, I feel so calm, and I just didn't even want to talk like all day. So I'm just like waiting. I've been waiting to talk. I just have not been wanting to talk. I feel very calm. I feel very at peace, and I've realized I'm sitting here and I'm in my 20s. Based off like what people say to do, I should be doing all these things, and sometimes like I do crazy shit. But at the same time, like, I just feel also like I'm at peace. I mean, I'm gonna do whatever I want, but I'm completely at peace. Love to build things, and I'm not lonely. Like, I feel like sometimes you go on these podcasts and it's putting fear into women to think that we can't be alone. It's like programming women to think that we cannot be alone. People say it gets old. It does not get old. Like, I feel like I have the entire world within me. I do, and I want to build this world from inside out, and that's not everyone's path, but that's my path, and that's what lights me up, right? And the moon and me connecting to that and having that backbone and that structure. I mean, I feel like the structure is more going to that masculine energy dynamic that we need. It could also be about like sensuality. So I also heard earlier you can connect to your Lilith. Now, I haven't really looked mine up in my birth chart, but I'm going to do that, and you can like look at your Lilith to see where your shadow is and like where you need to like release things. The thing is, like, I am always looking at things. Sometimes I forget. There's so much to learn with astrology, but just listen to yourself and listen to your body. Your body will communicate with you. A really good rule of thumb about like who I give my energy to, and I do follow these things. First of all, I do follow these things about like, I will not explain myself. I will set my boundaries once. It took me so long to learn my boundaries. That was the problem. I am fine with saying the things I went through. Here's the thing. I'm getting this strength now, and I want to show this because so much of the world makes it seem like just being a bitch and being manipulative is like the way to win in life. And I want to show that like you can win and follow your heart. To not be afraid to fall in love and to like do these things and have your heart open. The world likes to say a woman is like a bird or is weak or something when she is connected to her heart, but I just think it's such a strength. It's beautiful to like see the darkness in people, and people think they don't respect you or stuff. Like, when you look at people and you see darkness, they actually are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you love me? Like, I'm a dark demon. But the thing is, I love the dark. I was really scared of my own shadow, and I feel like I'm just stepping into it. When you just like choose it to go into that, I feel like it releases you from this like patriarchal view, which I didn't realize how much had so much teeth in me. Anyways, I'm just beginning to like re-enter this phase, but I'm excited because I feel like it's really gonna like help me grow into my soul in like a whole different way. I just feel whole. Like, I don't feel lack. I feel like they paint out to be the evil, the bitter. I'm not bitter, honey. I'm educated. They like to treat people like that. They're just happy and content and want to protect their peace. It's like, oh, you're bitter, you're entitled. I'm not. We're not any of these things. It's just about giving yourself permission and, you know, protecting that softness and knowing your worth, just tolerating nothing that is not clarity, and being that container, which also means not being at war with yourself and understanding your desires and all these things are not separate, not viewing anyone as separate or anything as separate.